But what do you want to do? You want to fight everybody else. You tough in the streets. You tough at home. You tough at work. You tough with your friends and your family. But when it comes to that mirror, you weak. You're a coward when it comes to the mirror, because the mirror is where the real problem is. And the mirror is where the real fight is. And that's the one you run from. So today, we're going to get into the real fight, which is fighting yourself, fighting your own demons. Give me 1 Samuel. Hey, somebody phone reverbing. Cut this sound up. Give me 1 Samuel 17. We finna go to King David and Goliath. King David and Goliath is a very famous story in Israel. And it's something that you can put in your spirit to help you fight yourself, because what our ancestors saw in this fight is the same thing you see every day when you look in the mirror. I want you to start at verse 4.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17, verse 4. And there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines, named Goliath, of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span.
That's how big your demons stand in front of you when you look in that mirror. That's how big the demon is. And he's so big, he's something you call a generational curse. This demon been in your family all through your generations. And that's what makes you so comfortable with him. That's why you're so afraid to fight him. Keep going. Read verse, drop down to verse 8.
It's the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17, verse 8. And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel, and said unto them, why are ye come out to set your battle in array? Am not I a Philistine, and ye servants to Saul? Choose you a man for you, and let him come down to me.
Which one are you going to choose to fight against your demons? Which one are you going to stand up to fight against the Goliath in your mirror? Now, all these men of Israel, they hearing this man talk, and what's happening to them? I'm asking, what's happening?
They scared.
They scared. And that's what's happening. Every time somebody starts talking about changing your life, that's what stopped you from coming in the truth for so long. You were afraid of the fight because you are a coward. See, being a coward ain't what you think it is. You think being a coward is running from somebody in the street. Find out, give me the definition of a coward real quick. Give me that definition. Read that.
This is the definition of a coward. A person who lacks courage in facing danger, difficulty, opposition, or pain.
Somebody that lacks courage when opposition comes, when things get uncomfortable. That's what a coward is. You know how many people won't come into the truth because of an edge up, because of cigarettes, because of weed, pork, Christmas, birthdays. You know how many people that's a real coward, because you don't want to be uncomfortable. You don't want anyone to tell you something that could actually challenge you on becoming something different. So you're not who you really are. You're fake. You're not even living to be who you're really supposed to be. You are fake. You're just letting everyone see your mask. You know, you had something happen when you were younger, and now that thing has become your new face, the new thing that protects you. And so now you walk around like this is the real you. But the real you is somewhere inside of you, balled up, sitting in a corner. And every time you look in that mirror, you see Goliath. You see a monster. You see something that you are not willing to fight. Well, that's the fight the Lord sent his son to die for, so that you can have an opportunity to fight. That's the fight worth fighting for. Fighting to change your life. Because if it wasn't for your king dying for you, you wouldn't have had to worry about fighting. You would have went to court and got stoned. You would have went to court and died. That's what would have happened to you. But because of your king, you get the opportunity to change your life and fight. And so that's what we're trying to put in you. We want you to fight. Give me I want you to see, drop down to verse 20 real quick.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17, in verse 20. And David rose up early in the morning and left the sheep with the keeper and took and went as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the trench as the host was going forth to the fight and shouted for the battle. Verse 21.
Let me tell you something. David, the spirit that David have on him is the spirit we have on us in the truth. Because one thing about us is we're not afraid to fight, just like David wasn't afraid to fight. He knew about the opposition, but the thing that he respected more than what he saw is the Most High's word. That's what he respected more than what he saw. That's what people don't understand about this Bible that we read. These men were outnumbered. These men always had opposition to where they were not, looking the strongest and not in a position to win. But they knew who they were. They knew exactly what the Most High promised them. And so that's where their faith came from. Their faith didn't come in their numbers and their military might. So what's your excuse? The first problem is you don't know who you are. So you don't have the confidence in yourself like David and them had. You understand? But even them knowing who they are, they still were afraid to stand. And I see that in Blacks and Hispanics right now. And they don't know. They think that they're strong and courageous because they'll bang the flag or they'll, be in the streets. Blacks and Hispanics will run in your house knowing you got guns and kick down your house, knowing you in there and you woke. They're not afraid of that. We're not afraid to fight each other. Oh, no, we do that every day. But that mirror, looking in that mirror and changing, that's a real fight. Go ahead. We'll use that. Drop to 25.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17, verse 25. And the men of Israel said, have ye seen this man that is come up? Surely to defy Israel is he come up. And it shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches and will give him his daughter.
Stop. That's heavy right there. The man that killeth Goliath, what's going to happen?
The king will enrich him with great riches and will give him his daughter.
What did Christ say? My Father's house, many mansions. If it was not so, I wouldn't have told you. What do you have to do first? You got to die. You got to kill him. And to the man that kills him, you get the chance to be a rich man, to be wealthy. You become a man that there's a great gulf between you and poverty, a great gulf between you and oppression. That's what happens when you kill Goliath. But you standing like the army of Israel under Saul. You looking at the opposition like it can't be beat. This is a generational curse. We've always smoked weed. We've always smoked cigarettes. We always celebrated Christmas. It's a family tradition. You ain't standing up against it. So that's why you ain't living past it. Keep going.
And make his father's house free in Israel.
Make them what?
Israel.
Everybody talk about freedom. They want to be free off from the hand of the oppressor. Well, this is the thing that gets you free. Destroying the thing in you that's stopping you from standing up for righteousness. Drop down to 34.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17, verse 30, verse 28. And it reads, and Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men.
This is David's oldest brother. David is like, what's going on? Why y'all not run out there to fight him? He trying to figure out what's my big brothers out here, the nation out here, the army out here, the king out here. Why ain't nobody going out here to defeat this uncircumcised Philistine? What's the problem? David brother get hot. What do you say?
And Eliab's anger was kindled against David.
Mhm.
And he said, why camest thou down hither?
Mm.
And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness?
Mm.
I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thine heart.
Mm.
For thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle.
He said, look, man, you just a hothead. What you doing down here? You really don't need to be down here. What happened? The first thing he had to do, because he didn't want to fight himself, was start getting mad at his brother and hating his brother because he was afraid. What happens? You see Black Hispanics and Native Indians, they so afraid to do what needs to be done. So the only problem they see is you. Oh, what's wrong, man? It's the brotherhood. Oh man, Black people, man, they just can't get right. You know how we are. But what's the common denominator to your life? What is the reason you can't be in a good, healthy relationship? What is the reason why are you broke and you got an excellent job? Ain't nobody spending your money. You are. You the problem. But that's not what you want to fight. You want to point the finger at everybody else. You want to blame everybody else for your problems except yourself. That's the thing that David's brother was like, man, you shouldn't be out here. You're making me look bad. My little brother out here trying to take on a fight that I'm not willing to take. Well, we here to take that fight. Why? Because we trust the process. We trust the Most High's word, and we know what works. Why? Read verse 34. This is why we know will work. Go ahead, 34.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17, verse 34. And David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock. Verse 35. And I went out after him, and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard, and smote him, and slew him.
Go on.
Verse 36. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them.
See, in the Isupk, we fight demons every day. We help brothers and sisters on that's schizophrenic. We help people that have alcohol problems and that do drugs, and we help people's marriages. So it's no lion or tiger or bear that we can see that we'll be afraid of, because we know that this works in here. We trust the process. That's what we trust. But people that don't trust the process are afraid, and they're running from the thing that can actually fix them, that can actually work in their life. The Isupk helps people. How do we know? Because it changed. I'm not speaking from no one else's experience. I'm speaking from my own. It changed my life. It changed everybody in your life. The people that's online, it changes our lives every day. So why do we stand and say that Isupk is the home of the truth? Are we yes men? No. We in here because we know it works. And a lot of times people try to do new things. They try to find a new path to success. Read verse 38.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17, verse 38. And Saul armed David with his armor, and he put an helmet of brass upon his head. Also, he armed him with the coat of mail. Verse 39. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it.
He have not what?
He had not proved it.
Listen, Saul gave him the king's armor. He gave him armor. He gave him, big sword, big chest plate, all that. Saul, David was like, saying, I can't move like I normally move with this, because I ain't never used this before. This is the new way. This is another way. This is something else. Keep going.
And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these.
I cannot what?
I cannot go with these.
I can't do it like this, sir. Salakia. I can't go with this. I know it's good, fine metal and brass and armor, and I know you mean well by it. I know you think you're giving me something that's going to help me, but this ain't it. Keep going.
For I have not proved them.
Because it hasn't been proven to work. You can have an idea on what you think the way to righteousness is. You can say, oh, all I got to do is keep the commandments, brother. You know, I'm a commandment keeper. That's what I do. I just follow the law. But it ain't been proven. Who holds you accountable? If you, whether or not you following the law or not, who counsels you? What are you doing? You going out and getting, the Holy Spirit teaches you, huh? You going out and having class in the sun, right? You sitting in Indian style and letting your solar plex open with the sun going through your chakras, huh? That's how the Lord teaches you personally, huh? Okay, no sweat. Well, it hasn't been proven because you still smoking weed. You still blowing rod under the bleachers like you was in middle school. You still doing the same thing that you've always done. So it ain't
in his hand, and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook, and put them in a shepherd's bag, which he had, even in a scrip. And his sling was in his hand, and he drew near to the Philistine. Verse 41. And the Philistine came on and drew near unto David, and the man that bare the shield went before him.
Why did David have confidence in the sling? Say it again, say it in the mic.
Because it was proven.
Because it was proven. You know why we in the Isupk under Commander General Your Honor and doing the things that we do in this school? Because it's been proven to work.
That's right.
It works. And our King Christ taught us that this works. If you're trying to do it another way, you gambling with your life. That's what you're doing. Give me Matthew real quick. Let me get Matthew. Man, I want y'all give me a set of man at variance. Give me that. So now, give me John 15 and 18 first. Let me help you understand something. You afraid to come into the truth because you know that once you decide to put on all black and come into the truth, people are going to turn their backs on you. You're not going to be invited to the cookout. You can't come to the cookout. You can't come to mama's house and eat, you know what I'm saying, and be around because you are in the cult. And you into that other stuff. Y'all teach that other stuff, and I don't believe in it. Let me help you out. Your mama don't believe the Bible either. Your mama don't believe the Bible. She's just holding you accountable for it, but she don't believe it. Because if your mother believed the Bible, she would believe a man can have more than one wife. Because men in the Bible had more than one wife. Is it a lie? If your mother believed the Bible, she wouldn't believe that you can eat pork because you can't pray over pork. Show me the halal pork. Where's the halal pork? Where they ain't praying over no pigs and making it halal. You know why? Because
this is the book of John, chapter 15, verse 18. If the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you.
See, you want to say you want to follow Jesus. You want to be a follower of Christ, but everybody love you. You got all your friends and family. Everybody believe that you a good guy. Well, being in the truth, you become a bad guy. You're a villain. That's what you are. And if the world hates you, it's because you're a follower of Christ. Because they didn't kill him because they loved him. If they loved him, they wouldn't have killed him. They killed him because they hated him. Well, the hate we get is because we love him. We stand with him. We fight the same fight he fights. And we fight ourselves. Christ had to fight himself. Demon coming to Christ, he said, listen, man can't live by bread alone. So if Christ had to fight demons, you ain't got to fight none. Keep reading now.
Verse 19. If ye were of the world would love his own.
See, this is how you know you're not in the world when you come in the truth. Because when you was in the world, do you know how much my family loved me when I was smoking all that weed? You know how much my friends was, hey, that's my boy right there. As soon as I say, hey, man, I'm trying to chill out. Bro, what you on? You all right? You good? Oh, he tripping. If you was in the world would love you because you act like them. They don't want nobody in there that can point the finger at them and tell them to change. Now, they can't hang around you. Keep going.
But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you.
Because you've decided to change your life, and the Lord has chosen you out of the world, that's why they hate you. You're making a decision to choose the losing team. What's the team that got the best record? Who had the worst record last year? Basketball. Who? The Rockets? Damn, that's deep. The Rockets. Now, the Rockets was 0-50. And you say, you know what? I want to play for them. That's what you're doing when you deciding to come and serve the Lord. Because who's winning? Them people that got a building on every corner. The Christian church. That's the voice of God in the world right now that everybody has been respecting for the last 100 years. Everybody respected them. We the coat, because we the newcomers. But you haven't read the Bible enough to understand that the Bible says, I will send forth the prophets last. That's what he said. I'm going to send the apostles last. And that's what we out here to do. We out here we let the lie get a head start. That's what you do to a little kid when you know you can beat them. That's what the Most High did. The Most High let the lie get 100 years start, get a whole, go ahead, spread it. Make Christ white, make the disciples white, do all of it. That's why the scriptures say that our oppressor came out of the bottomless pit and it covered the skies and the sun and the moon. All the wisdom of the world was covered. Why? Because the Lord gave him a head start. Then 1969 come. And there was a little beacon of light that started to spread into the world. So much so that the first man in the school was murdered, was unalived for doing the work. Was that love? Was it the love of Jesus? Yeah, it was. It was the same love they showed him. They unalived him. That's what you're joining when you come into the truth. You're joining the good fight. That's what it is. And the way you fight in here is you clean you. That's how you fight in here. You clean yourself up, because the thing they're going to use against you is you being a hypocrite. Finish that verse. Okay, give me that scripture I asked for. I want y'all. Y'all about to shim y'all shot right up.
Warrior, down for me. I'm ready to get it on. I'm ready to answer your questions, solve all your problems, heal all your wounds. Let's have them right now. Take the questions online, and I'll get into my topic today. I'll take the questions in the room. All right, let's have it. Anyone in the room have a question? Anyone online? You got it up.
Salakia, I have a question from a young man, Hyman.
All right, Hyman.
He says, can I get a breakdown on the 7 trumpets? Will the 7 trumpets be played when Christ returns?
Absolutely. Go ahead and read it for the brother, all right? In Revelations, that's what he's talking about. Anyone has a drink in here? Since I'm in Texas, I might as well have a drink. Give it a hand. Well done. I ain't here often. I'm not here often now. While I'm here.
I got it for you, sir.
I appreciate it. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 8, verse 6. And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. Verse 7. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood.
All right, let me explain it to you for time's sake. All right. These 7 angels are blowing 7 trumpets. Each time they blow one trumpet, a prophesied destruction happens to this world. So think about it like the meaning on this planet, on this realm, in this fourth dimension, we might see earthquakes and volcanoes erupt. In the spiritual realm, the reason that those earthquakes are erupting and that those volcanoes, that those earthquakes are happening and that those volcanoes are erupting is because an angel blew this trumpet. So it's the trumpet is giving a sound for the earth to react. Everyone understands. And so the Most High is going to read off 7 of these. All right. We just read one. Read the other one.
And the second, verse 8, and the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea. And the third part of the sea became blood.
That's what I just brought out as far as volcanoes. So imagine a big volcanic rock just coming out the mountain and just going down into the sea. Read another one. I appreciate it. Do me a favor, boy, if you could. Just separate the scotch from the tonic, if you don't mind. I appreciate it. Do what?
Verse 10. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star.
Just put ice in the tonic water cup, please, brother. Go ahead.
And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven.
Keep going.
Burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon a third part of the rivers.
So now when you read that and when the Most High explains that, that's speaking about the rulers of this world, the people that we look up to are going to come crashing down from their seat of authority. And it's happening right now all over the globe. Right now, the police do not have the respect they used to have. The tribe of Amalek, one tribe of the nation of Esau, they are not respected and feared the way they used to be. I remember, brother, when I was a kid, you couldn't even say anything was worse than the so-called Holocaust. Nothing. If you said slavery was worse than the Holocaust, that was controversial. That was going to get you canceled. If you said anything that has ever happened on earth, if you said the deaths of millions of people by the 90 million, 200 million, if you said that that was worse than 6 million people dying in Germany, you were a racist. You were racist for saying it because you were not allowed to ever do anything to offend so-called Jewish people. Well, that's ending. That's over. Now you have people marching through the streets that are refusing to revere them the way they used to. That's the star of heaven coming crashing to the ground. Everyone understands. I appreciate it. That, you can just read that farther down. So yes, these things are happening and will happen on the day of judgment. Each time some great tragedy, some great prophesied calamity happens in the world on this planet, it's because an angel was given an order to blow his trumpet. And there's 7 of them, and they go all the way down until that great day when the final trumpet blows and our king returns with 200 million angels to give justice to the people that would not get it otherwise. Everyone understands. In the back up. Damn here. Well, I'm confusing the brother to no end. Give me one more second, Yatazak. Help me out, brother. This is all you go. Just take this, right? You can get rid of that. It was all right.
No, I was just saying.
Okay.
So each sound
Put this
is
in
a
there
sign.
with ice and tonic water. Put this just with scotch, straight up and down. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So each sound is a sign.
Well, the sound, we don't hear the sound.
Right.
The sound is for the tragedy. The sound is for the tragedy to happen. So the sound, we'll never hear the trumpet, but we will feel the earthquake.
I'll
You
see the
understand?
sign.
Or we'll see the sign. Exactly. We'll see the sign, but we won't hear the trumpet. But we will see the sign, like your brother just said. All right. Next question.
It's kind of what kind, sir. There's a brother online. This is titled "Disciple of Christ."
Mhm.
So, can I get a breakdown on First Ezra, chapter 9, verse 36? First,
Also, wait, there might be one more part to the young brother's question. The final trumpet, that one we hear, because that one is for us. All right. The other ones are for, the natural disasters and wars to happen. But that final trumpet is when the chariots are here. And that one we all hear. Everyone understands. Next question.
kind of what kind. First, this is the book of First Ezra, chapter 9, verse 36. All these had all these had taken strange wives, and they put them away with their children. Verse 37. And the priests and Levites and they that were of Israel dwelt in Jerusalem and in the country. in the first day of the 7th month.
I believe he wants me to break down the whole putting away your wife thing right here. Is that right? All right, let me give it to you 1 second. Hold on. Now we can teach. He wasn't really teaching before. Oh, we're about to teach now. The water tower, Doc. Now, I believe read the part he's talking about in the beginning.
Kind of what kind, sir.
Go ahead.
Verse 36. All these had taken strange wives.
Let me give you. Let me just sum this up for you. Right, when the nation of Israel left out of our, was it our last captivity? No, it wasn't our last captivity, but it was our most famous captivity. We spent about 400 years slaves in the land of Egypt, being slaves under our slave masters, the Egyptians at that time, the Africans, or what the Bible calls the Hamites, or in specific, the tribe of Mizraim. Right, that's the specific African tribe that had us in slavery in the land of Egypt, and we served there for 400 years. All the great pyramids that you see that people now go travel to Egypt on a plane to go see to this day, we built those pyramids. Those pyramids were built off of slave labor, the same way New York was built, and Washington, D.C., and downtown Houston was built. We built the great treasure cities of Egypt. At the end, finally, the Most High decided that our captivity was over. And he sent Moses to go to Pharaoh and to tell him to let us go have 3 days off to serve our God in the wilderness. Just like every slave master, Pharaoh refused to even give us 3 days off. You know, black people are fighting for that right now. We had to fight to get the weekend. You don't know, back in the 1940s, there was a tremendous fight to simply get the weekend. That's before the weekend existed. People had to fight and go to the streets and get in wars and burn down factories simply to get those 2 days off that we have right now. That's where the weekend comes from. Before that, there was no weekend. Well, now people are trying to fight to get more days off, and they're going to have to do the same thing because our slave master is cruel. He's cruel. Well, that's the way it was in Egypt. All Moses wanted was 3 days off. Pharaoh refused. And he got more, his heart was more hardened by the Most High, meaning he got more angry at us for even asking for 3 days off. So then he began to put more burdens upon us to make our slavery more unbearable. At the end of that, the Most High decided he was going to free us completely and totally. And he had all of us walk out of the land of Egypt. Now, when we went to go leave out, everyone came because the Egyptians thrust or pushed all of us out. So the people that left Egypt, the Israelites that left Egypt, they didn't leave because they were righteous or because they earned this salvation. They left because they were Israelites, and no Israelite was allowed to stay in Egypt because by that time, the Egyptians were terrified of us and they wanted all of us to leave. So we left in a mixed multitude. You'll read this term in the Bible, meaning mixed with what? Some righteous, some leaving because they obeyed Moses, some simply leaving because they weren't allowed to stay in Egypt anymore. So this mixed multitude left Egypt. The brothers who were righteous, of course, were following Moses and obeying the customs that Moses laid down to be obeyed. The other ones had heathen wives. They ate pork, they ate hippo, they ate alligator. They were just mixed in with the righteous brothers and sisters that were leaving. Then they got out in the wilderness. Now they started to have all kinds of problems. All kinds of problems. Why? Because there are sinners among their ranks. Sinners. And then the Most High began to be against us because we continued the sins that we committed in Egypt. We continued them in the wilderness. Then finally, the Most High God told Moses to get rid of the mixed multitude, and that the brothers who had heathen wives had to divorce those wives, had to throw those wives away and the kids. All of them had to go. As you know, Moses gave us a what? A bill of divorce. There's a provision in the law of Moses where you're allowed to divorce. You could divorce an Israelite woman, let alone a heathen woman. And you can absolutely abandon a child who is a wicked child. That's in the Bible. You can absolutely turn that child into what? A bastard. A child rejected of his father because of his unlawful behavior. The Most High God said, get rid of all of them. Who else did this first? Where's the precedence for this? Abraham. You got to go study. Abraham had a heathen wife because he thought that his Israelite wife, or she wasn't Israelite because this is before Israel. She was of his seed. She was of his family. She was flesh of his flesh, bone of his bone. He believed that she would never be able to give him a child because she was so old. So she told him to go into her handmaid, make a child with my handmaid, and it happened. The handmaid's name was Hagar. She had a child. That child's name was Ishmael. But the child began to vaunt himself against the eventual child that he did have with Sarah, who he thought was too old and she thought was too old. They eventually had a son, Isaac. But when Isaac and Ishmael were around playing with each other as kids, Hagar began to treat Sarah like she was above Sarah and began to be proud and boastful and belittle Sarah. And the son did the exact same thing. Finally, the Most High God came to Abraham and said, hearken unto the voice of thy wife, because his wife told him to kick out the bondwoman and her son. That's in the book of Genesis, all right? Moses did it right here. Moses gave us a law of divorce, and we got rid of the heathen and the child. Both of them were gone. Everyone understands. I just broke this down to you. That's what happened. Solid. Next. Now, one more question you should have asked. Here's the question you should have asked. Are we allowed to divorce our wife now? No. You are not allowed to divorce your wife now because of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ said, yes, Moses did give you a law of divorce, but I say unto you, it was not so from the beginning. For two, he said, shall become one flesh. Moses gave you this law because of the hardness of your hearts. Moses knew that we could not change. If we were a person coming out of captivity and your mother was a heathen, you couldn't change. Your heart was too hard to change, to leave the culture behind that you were in Egypt. That's what Lot's wife couldn't do. Lot's wife couldn't leave the culture of Sodom and Gomorrah behind her, couldn't leave her love for the past, her love for how she grew up, her love for tradition. She couldn't leave that. And so because of that, she stayed in Sodom and Gomorrah as a pillar of salt. At that time, if you were a man and you had a wife that made you angry, a wife that had too much goddamn mouth, a wife that vexed you, you couldn't forgive her. Why? Because you wanted to get a new woman, and the new woman wanted you to leave the old woman. And brothers were doing that, and Moses said, you know what? You two will never love each other. You will never forgive one another. You will never be kind to one another. So Moses suffered you a bill of divorce. That's the words he uses. Suffered you. He didn't like it, but he just let it happen because he knew that you could never forgive. You could never be kind. You could never put something in the past, so he let you leave each other. But Jesus Christ will not suffer it. The law of Jesus Christ says you're going to forgive. You're going to stay together for the rest of your life. You don't have a choice. You have a choice in whether or not you get married. You don't have to open your legs. You don't have to go into her. You have a choice. You could just not marry. That's fine. But once you decide to marry, you have chosen to stay with each other for the rest of your life. Even if he gets another woman, you still going to stay with him. That's how it works. Even if you can't stand her because she's on your goddamn nerves. Sometimes I don't know what brothers complain about in the UPK. I don't know what the hell your problem is. Listen, I talked to a brother. Hold on one second. I talked to a brother in my hotel, saw him in the lobby. And I said, what's going on? He said, man, I'm living a one West dream. I said, that was his words. He said, I'm down here with two women. He said, I done came down here with two women. He said, I used to sneak and lie. I'm down here. I walk down here with two women who know about each other. What's your problem, huh? You don't have no goddamn problem. You're living a dream. Some of you brothers, you must have never lied to a woman in the past. Raise your hand if you never lied to a woman. Okay, then you know what I'm talking about. Well, you ain't lying. You ain't sneaking. You just go somewhere with two women, and what are you complaining about? Her mouth? Please, she could run her head till it spins around backwards. I'm out here with 3 and 4 women together that know about each other. Listen, stop complaining. You're doing all right. You're doing all right. Give yourselves a hand because you're doing a good job. So what? She complains sometime, argue, give you a little argument. Maybe she argue because you come down here with 4 women in tow, towing 4 women down here. Maybe it's a little beef, maybe it's have a few arguments. Who cares? Let's argue then. So what? But we got a damn good thing going on here, brothers. A damn good thing. We're staying together. That's that. Everybody understands. Go ahead.
We got a question online. It's Galatians chapter 3. They want to break down on Galatians chapter 3, verse 28.
No problem. Go ahead.
This is the. Yeah, you got to turn it up, tell about it. Verse 28. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Christ Yahushua.
Is there a specific question about this or just in general breakdown? I got you. Many times people use this precept because all they see is that the part where it says there is neither Jew nor Greek, because that's their way of saying it doesn't matter what you believe and what race you are. We all must love each other together. That's usually the point, all right? But of course, they did not see where it also says there is neither male nor female. It says that right after that. Let me break it down for you quickly, all right? Read one verse above it and I'll explain. And then one verse after what you just read.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 3 and verse 27. For as many of you as have been baptized into Christ have put on Christ.
As many of you that have been baptized into Christ, what does it mean to be baptized into Christ? Meaning you were cleansed, and now that you're clean, your new life is lived for him. I'm clean of the person I was before, the culture I had before. I celebrated Thanksgiving and Christmas and did terrible, terrible things to people. That was my culture. That was how I was raised. David said, in sin did my mother conceive me. He was raised to sin. He was raised to be violent and raised to be harmful to other people, right? It's our culture. But then one day you decide to be cleansed of who you were. And now the new person now behaves like Christ. So as many of you that were baptized into Christ, go ahead.
Have put on Christ.
Have put on Christ. So the metaphor here is like wearing clothing. So now I'm clean. Imagine the person, the metaphor is I wash, I'm clean. I get up from washing, and now I put my clothing back on. But the clothing I'm wearing now is him. I'm wearing him. I behave like him. I talk like him. I treat my brothers the way he said to treat my brothers. I treat my sisters the way he said to treat my sisters. That's the new clothing that I put on after my bath, after I've washed. That's the metaphor. Everyone understands. Go ahead.
Verse 28. There is neither Jew nor Greek.
In that, it doesn't matter if you're a Jew or a Greek. Explain. What does it mean to be a Jew? Real simple. Just think 2,000 years ago. Come on.
To be a Jew, that means that you've never broken the law.
Right. You grew up under the law of Moses. You grew up in Jerusalem. Jerusalem, by the way, is in Palestine. That's the land they're fighting over in TV. And not, I'm sorry. And Jerusalem is in Palestine and Bethlehem. Bethlehem, where Jesus Christ was born, is in Palestine, which is another reason why the so-called Jew wants that land, so he can have tourism like you cannot believe to go see the city where Jesus Christ was born, because right now that city is within the borders of Palestine, all right? Right, when you change, now I'm behaving like him. Some people were Jews, meaning they were raised in Jerusalem. They didn't eat pork, they didn't eat shrimp, but they didn't follow Christ. And if you don't follow Christ, it's not good enough to just keep the law. Why? Because you're not even keeping the law. You think you're keeping the law, but with examination, you will find out you're actually breaking it precept. There was a man, Dr. Zak, you called me about this recently. There was a brother who said, Lord, I have kept all thy commandments. I've done everything that you told me to do. Because why? Because Christ was going out and telling people, keep the commandments. Keep the commandments. This young brother said, I keep them. I keep them all from my birth. That man was a Jew. He was raised under the Sadducee and Pharisee, raised to keep the commandments. Jesus Christ said, obey the Pharisee, for they sit in Moses' seat. However, who knows the rest? Listen to them. Don't do what they do. Give them a hand. Raise your hand next time. They sit in Moses' seat. So whatever they bid you, do it, but do not as they do. You understand? They were going to teach you the law. They just weren't going to keep the law. Everyone gets it. You know that if you know preachers. That's preachers that wave a big old Bible around. And God saith, and Leviticus 14 and Shabbat. They full of the word of God. They just are not going to do a damn thing that it says. That's all. But they will tell you to read the Bible. They will tell you to obey God. And you got to put God first in your life. And then they're going to have sex with your wife after the chitlin eating contest. That's preachers. All right. So this a young man was saying, listen, man, I keep all the commandments. What else must I do? He said one last thing. Sell everything that you own and come and follow me. And the man was very sad, for his possessions were great. You understand? He didn't want to put on Christ. He didn't want to be a soldier. He didn't want to always go there. And to serve Christ, you got to go there and do that thing that you don't want to do. Everyone understands. So he was a Jew. Being a Jew ain't good enough. You're going to have to now become like Christ. It doesn't matter if you're a Greek. Who's a Greek? A Greek is someone who obeys the customs of the Greeks. They're celebrating the goddess of Diana's birthday and celebrating Saturn's birthday and celebrating Christmas, which is a Greek custom that goes back to Saturnalia. They're doing everything the Greeks do. But now they change. So now they're serving Christ. So they're not doing those things. They're keeping the commandments, and they're going beyond that, which is what's required if you want to serve Christ. So it doesn't matter that they grew up in Galatia. That's fine. It doesn't make you perfect because you grew up in Jerusalem, because that ain't good enough. Both of you are going to have to put this on, rock it like this, wear this, behave like this. And it doesn't matter whether you're Jew or Greek. Keep going.
There is neither bond nor free.
There is neither bond nor free. You might be a man who's free. You're not a slave. Your family was free a long time ago, like back in the Roman Empire, where you had certain black people that were not slaves. Why? Because 100 years ago, your father did something great for some rich man, and now you're not a slave, and your children are not slaves because someone bought your freedom, which could happen even here in the South. You have many black people that would go to the North because they were not slaves. Black people down here in Texas were slaves. But you have black people in Pennsylvania and New York who were not slaves. They were getting hung the same goddamn way. They were being brutalized the exact same way they're getting brutalized in Texas, but they were not slaves. They were free men, which is where that term comes from. Free men. They were free. They weren't slaves. It doesn't make you good enough just because you're a free man. A free man is going to have to change. He's going to have to behave like Christ. And just because this brother is from the deep South and he's the children of slaves, it doesn't mean that he can't be free if he serves Christ. Meaning all of us have the same burden, whether you're rich or whether you're poor, whether you're the children of slaves in Texas or the children of free men in New York. All of us have the exact same burden, whether your family comes from Galatia or your family listen to the Sadducee and Pharisee in Jerusalem. All of us have the exact same burden. We all have to shed ourselves of who we were. And it is a terrible change to make up. It's terrible. Most people can't do it. Most people cannot break with tradition. A turkey dinner is going to keep people out the kingdom of heaven, brother. It's going to happen. That turkey dinner is enough to mean you're not getting into the kingdom because of the cranberry, because of the stuffing, or what's the dressing, the dressing. That's going to keep you out of the kingdom of heaven. Something you could eat any day you wanted of the year. You could do it, and you're not even going to do it. I always wanted to ask Christians, if you love that turkey so much, why don't you just go make a turkey one damn day? I don't know if you love turkey the way you say, because you don't make it. You make it one time of the year. And if you love your family so much, why don't you call them all together for nice dinners any day? when you never even see these cousins. Those cousins you sneak outside and get high with on Thanksgiving, you know those ones, right? The ones you walk around the back of the house with. Sometime during the Thanksgiving dinner, you don't ever see him. You don't call him. You don't talk to him. You don't see that aunt. But you claim to love this family so much, and that's the reason you got to go to Thanksgiving. Why don't you just go see them any day? Why don't you just go buy a turkey anytime and go see your family? I don't think you love your family. I think you love the tradition. I think you love the sin, but you don't actually love those people that you never call at all unless it's Thanksgiving. Everyone understands. It doesn't matter whether you're Jew or Greek, whether you're bond or free. The word bond means a slave. The word free means you're not a slave. Whether you're bond or free, go ahead.
There's neither male nor female, for ye all one in Christ Jesus.
And there is neither male nor female. The Christian church makes a woman's burden so light. The woman's burden in the Christian church, I don't know if she got to do anything but hand over a purse. I think that's about all she has to do in the Christian church. She can have abortions out of every hole. She can have sex with everyone she wants. She can get divorced all the time. I don't know why no one even gives a damn about some marriage license when you can get divorced the next day. That whole thing about marriage licenses, I've never understood it since I've been in the truth, in that I can see, 200 years ago, this was a big deal. Because if you signed this contract, you were locked into it. But how could it matter now when you can just get divorced? Why is it so moving? Why are you crying? If someone proposes to you, bitch, what are you crying about? When you could leave him tomorrow. You just go hand him a piece of paper and leave him. Why is this a life-altering event? Why is it so moving to you? Oh, this is a big, and even you brothers, you go, I'm thinking about getting married. Oh, you're going to get married. That's a big deal. Why is it a big deal? Why? This same woman that begs you to give her a ring is going to beg you for a divorce in 2 years. Beg you for one. What difference could this possibly make? How is this such a big deal to you? It's not. But if you're a woman or a brother in the truth, it's a major commitment because it is permanent. It is nothing that you can get out of without extremely serious repercussions. Some stupid bitch texts me right now as I'm trying to get dressed. She was kicked out the truth in Florida. It had to be 8 years ago. She texted me tonight. I mean, these stories happen all the time. Someone gets kicked out the school, they just don't never go away. They just are always around, texting you and trolling you. Just a thousand lies. Someone trolled her. I kicked out the truth. I don't even remember when I kicked them out the truth. I didn't forgot the whole thing. But I know that in them, it's like they are hurting somewhere. They're in pain and in poverty and health problems somewhere. And I could care less about them. And I know it's rough and I know it's sad, but once you make a commitment in here, you cannot break this commitment. You take an oath when you take a Hebrew name. You take an oath when you accept a rank. Once you do this is not like getting married. This is not like marriages in the world. This is permanent. And it's as heavy and as strong and as bonding for a woman as it is a man. Women do not have a lighter burden in the Israelite school of UPK. You want a light burden, bitch? Go into the church where you can be whored out by everyone in there and forgotten. That leads me to another thing that is so ridiculous about this world. Some brother called me, I answer questions constantly and too damn much, right? On my off hours, which don't exist. And the brother, this was a sister. She said, it was a brother. I forget who the hell it was, but he said, this controversy going on about what's the best place to go on a first date. Who knows what I'm talking about? Okay, you break it down. What's your name again in the back? Bayan. Break it down, Bayan.
So the city girls made a list about all the places they won't go on the first date.
Oh, I didn't know the city girls did it. They did this. And so it was like a list of things of places you can go to, right? Is that right? And things you shouldn't do on the first date, And this brother told me this was like a controversy, like something that mattered, like something that was big enough to call me about some, what should you do on the first date? And then he showed me the list, Doc. It was a long list of things you shouldn't do at places, Cheesecake Factory and all kinds of stuff. I noticed I didn't see the Red Roof Inn on that list. Because I scanned it. It's okay. Cheesecake Factory. Well, I don't see the Econo Lodge Highway 25. Seems like a bitch. That's fine. Seems like she's fine with that. You take her straight to the Red Roof in 104 a night. That is not a problem. The Econo Lodge, the Hilton stay hotel. The list was, there was no hotels on the list, y'all. Hotels and motels are still allowed on the first date, but not, the Cheesecake Factory. Anyway, and what struck me as I looked at this list, and it was such a long list. Here's the problem, baby girl, for those of you out there listening, some of you first date experts out there. Here's the problem. The problem is, baby, you've been on too many first dates. Too many. You're a first date expert. That's what you are. That's the problem. Your problem is not where should you not go on a first date. I know you know that because you've been everywhere. You've been to the Cheesecake Factory. You've been to Olive Garden. You've been to Chuck E. Cheese. You've been everywhere, which is a real first date. Why? Because the broad has 4 kids. You got to take them to Chuck E. Cheese so they can play. Get them a whole sack of coins. Is that too old? Does that make me too old to know that? The Chuck E. Cheese even exists? Okay, all right. Used to be you took a broad to Chuck E. Cheese and let the brats run around so you could mack up on that goddamn woman. Oh, say it again. Oh, the card. So right. You got to put money on the card now. Baby, your problem is you've been on too many first dates. You see, if you would come into the truth, you would have been on your last first date. That's what you want in life. You want that. You don't want to debate where your next first date is going to be because you're going on one. Do you understand? You're going on more first dates. Get your list together. Email your list to everybody on your friends list. Let everyone know about your preference in first dates because you're going on them. You're going on first dates. That's all you will ever get is first dates. Your life will be an endless string of first dates. If you would serve Christ, you would have to change. You would have to have a new customs and new culture and be a new woman. But you've been on your last first date. I pray you understand that. All right? That's your burden. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. If you're a man, you can't throw away a woman because you had sex with her or after you have sex with her. You can't do that. The woman that you lust for and you want so bad, once she gives you the thing of your desire, you are going to keep desiring it for the rest of your life. That desire cannot change. You can't lose your heat and your passion for a woman. That's something that brothers in the world think they're allowed to do. And I hear about that a lot, which I don't understand. About a brother just losing his desire for a woman. Where did it go? What's your problem? You don't want that anymore? Why? Why not? You should. The minute you go into it for the first time, it's a commitment to go into it forever. So you don't want that anymore? Why not? So some brothers out in the world are more attracted to their right hand than they are their wife. That I'll never understand. And for the life of me, I don't want to hear nothing about she done got old, she done got fat. How attractive is your hand? Your hand must be the beauty. Let me see it. It looked like any old hand to me. Somehow that hand don't ever get heavy. That hand don't get old. It don't gain weight. That hand is as beautiful and seductive as it was when you were 13. But this broad got to be Beyonce for you to look at her. I don't get it. I don't think it has anything to do with looks or being with her because, of course, you are always attracted to your right hand. I think it's something wrong with you. I think that's what it is. I think it has nothing to do with her in any way. I think it's you. I think that you're just the kind of person that can't make a commitment. I think you don't have it in you. I think it's your integrity. I think it's too hard for you. It's too difficult. And I think your right hand is, of course, easy. And so because it's easy, you never lose attraction to your right hand at all. But this woman, you lose attraction to her, a flesh and blood, hot breathing woman. I think there's something wrong with you that you need to fix, brother. You get my point. And if you're in the truth, you're going to fix it. You have a burden to be with her. You have a burden to keep the commandments. You have a burden to be righteous and kind and dignified. You have a burden to bring glory to Commanding General Yohana and this school. And that burden is for all of us. Men, women, Jews, Greeks, rich, poor, bond, free. That's the breakdown on this scripture. Everyone understands, right? Next.
We got another question online. It says, can I get a breakdown on Ecclesiasticus chapter 7, verse 11?
No problem. Go ahead.
Laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul. For there is one which humbleth and exalteth.
Yeah, this is a good scripture for Hebrew Academy and for young brothers in the truth. In the UPK, we don't roast each other. Is that what they're using? That word they're using for that? I think we call it, sometimes they call it the dozens. It's really just insulting someone. No, right? You can't do that in the school lock. You can't. I know you and your homies and your friends, you love to just belittle each other because why? It's funny to you because other people's pain and embarrassment are, of course, hilarious, right? Because it makes you feel better about yourself. You're poor and you're suffering and you're sad. So it helps you to bring out the flaws in other people. So for a few minutes, you don't have to be faced with your own flaws. And that's, of course, why so many blacks and Latinos love to just insult each other. And you think it's okay because you think it's funny. That is against the Bible to do that. Don't do that to brothers. Someone is going to knock all your stupid ass teeth out your mouth out. That's what's going to happen, or you're going to get shot. That's what's going to happen. Don't do that to people. Don't insult people like that and laugh at them, make fun of them. Sometimes over time, a young brother might come into the school and he still has that habit. He tries to belittle some brother and laugh at a brother in here and make fun of him. And you're going to be dealt with in here, Rock. That's not something that we find funny. We don't talk about each other in a disparaging way. Brothers that try that, they glow in the dark in here. Brothers that try to talk about other brothers behind their back, let alone laugh at some brother's calamity or make fun of some brother, to make yourself feel good. Something like that doesn't belittle him, it belittles you. And that's what this precept is talking about. You understand, right? There's another precept in Proverbs about throwing a hot iron and saying, I am in sport. I'm just playing. That you can't do in here because your words are harmful, right? You grew up with your mother, didn't you? You know how much words hurt, don't you? Did she say you were a no good nigger and ugly just like your father? Didn't she talk about you? What was it funny? Huh? Was it funny when your mother called you a no good nigger and an ugly nigger and you ain't never going to be nothing? And you look like your ugly father and all you're going to be is a bum? Was that a comedy hour? Was that funny? Well, it's not funny when you do it to other people. You're not allowed to do it in here, which is what this precept is about. All right? Anything else?
So they also said a breakdown for this same book, the 9th chapter, verse 1.
Go ahead.
It says, Ecclesiasticus, the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 9, verse 1. Be not jealous over the wife of thy bosom, and teach her not an evil lesson against thyself.
Right. Be not jealous over the wife of your bosom, and teach her not an evil lesson against thyself. It's talking about what? Who knows? And you got to think about all the precepts you already know. Think about what it's not talking about. And think about this part. Don't teach her an evil lesson against yourself. That's what you need first. Don't teach her an evil lesson that is against you. Bayan, is that your name? You wanted to give it a shot? Go ahead. Can the brothers online see the class? Throughout it. Go ahead. Okay, come. If they can, it's a good idea. If not, don't sweat it. Go ahead.
What it mean to not be petty, sir?
Give me more about what you mean by petty.
Like you try to get revenge in some kind of way.
No, I can't say I could use the word petty. The part you need is, and don't teach her an evil lesson against yourself. That's the part you need. Let me give it to you for time's sake. Do not let a woman manipulate you by trying to make you jealous. It's jealousy like a weapon. Do you understand? If you haven't been through this, good. But some brothers, if you've been in the world, you can understand this. Where you're with a woman and she says, well, I'm just going to, go, talk to this person. I'm just going to go talk to your friend. I'm gonna go talk to your best friend. Or she goes and dresses in a way that's provocative so that you can go, where are you going? No, don't go out here now. No, I'll come see you. No, I'll forgive you. When a woman uses the fact that you love her to make you jealous, to control you. You understand? If this hasn't happened to you, count yourself blessed by the Most High. Go ahead.
Officer Mashamar in the prison department, he said, "Don't show her how to hurt you."
Give him a hand. That's exactly what it means. Do not show her how to hurt you. Don't do that, because the minute she sees it, a wicked woman will use it. If she knows that you're so worried about where she's going, you're always telling her not to dress like that, but she keeps doing it, and she knows you're scared. Don't be sitting out of her in front of her job in a car. You're sitting down there parked in your damn car in the rain in front of her job, watching her, stalking her. Don't do that. Why? She sees you over there in your car. She knows you're sitting over there in that damn car in the rain crying. She knows. And she's going to see it and keep doing it and going to use it to get you to do what she wants. So you can't be a jealous type of cat. You can't be a cat that's so easily manipulated by a woman. There are many brothers that are dead because some woman used them to make another man jealous. And those brothers are in the prison or in the grave because some woman said, well, I can just go talk to so-and-so. Well, if you don't like it, somebody else will. So now because of that, now you're all angry and you're upset and you out trying to kill somebody or shoot somebody because you're married to a slut. What do you care for? Go be with him. Go do it. Goodbye. Shalom. You got to learn this. It's an important trait to be able to completely ignore someone. It's a discipline. It's a discipline that I'm an expert in. To just absolutely cut someone off. If you walk by him in the street, you wouldn't notice them. You could just walk right by them like they're not there. They completely do not matter to you in any way. And you need to develop that. If not, you'll marry some slut out here in the world, and she's going to use her beauty. She's going to use her promiscuity and the fact that she can get other men and she looks so good. So now because of that, you're going to go shoot someone and go harm some poor brother, and she's going to be home while you're in jail and he's dead, and it will not matter to her at all. So you can't be that type of cat that's easily moved to jealousy. If you're with some half a whore and she's threatening you with being other men, open the door, brother. So many of you, the broad tries to go out at night to some club. She's dressed like a slut. You stand in front of the door. Where you going dressed like that? I'm going out. Don't you go out? Don't you go out? Didn't I catch you, that girl in your phone? So then she brings up all the women you out talking to, and then you like, damn, you talk to other women. Shit. Dang, she got me on that one. I do. But still, I don't want you to. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. I'm going to tell her I don't want to be with her no more. You stand in front of the door, blocking her from going out. She said, all right, she won't go out. But the minute you act up, she goes and puts on some nasty dress. Listen, here's a 20. Here's a 20 so you can go ahead and go out and get the first drink on me, bitch. Goodbye. Shalom. Have a good time. Like that. You ever seen, this is something one of the sisters brought up. The sisters brought up to me earlier. I don't know. I wish we could find this on the screen. This would be perfect. Give me the episode of The Fresh Prince in Bel-Air when Will Smith came home and nothing was in the house. Do you know what I'm talking about? These sisters know. Find that for me, tell the doctor. Put it up there. Let me show you what you got to do to a woman trying to make you jealous. All right. Go ahead, Doc. In the back. Kamar? Trooper Kamar. Go ahead. What's your question?
Salak Yalawap, if I may. Can I get a breakdown on 1 Corinthians chapter 7?
1 Corinthians chapter 7, what verse?
Verses 6 and 7, sir, is where it says, but I speak this by permission and not of commandment. Verse 7. For I would that all men were even as I myself, but every man has his proper gift of God, one after this manner and another after that.
You want to break down on it?
Answer.
Paul did not have a woman, right? And he would that everyone would be like him. But he knows that everyone cannot be like him because every brother doesn't have the gift to not have a woman. Paul did not have a woman. Jesus Christ did not have a woman. He was a eunuch by choice, and he broke that down when he was on the earth. Paul is not saying you have to do this because there is no commandment that you have to be a eunuch, but he's given permission by God to tell you he would like if everyone didn't have a wife and they just focused on the work of the Lord. However, not every man has that gift. So if you don't have that gift, that's fine. That's the point. Read it from the top and I'll bring it down to you. Go ahead. You might need it one verse above it to get the point.
Fine, sir. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1. Now concerning the things whereof all of you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
It is good. Make it one on the big. Show me that big one on the big screen. It is good for a man not to touch a woman. It's the Bible calls that being a eunuch, where you have no desire for sex, and you could just focus your whole life, your whole heart on the work of the Most High. That's good. If you have that kind of gift, Doc, that's a good gift to have. Keep going.
Verse 2. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife.
Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, what's fornication? Unlawful sex. So instead of you going and buying a prostitute or going and having sex with another man's wife, get a woman of your own. Get women of your own. So that way, because if you don't have the gift, you need to have sex. So get your own women so you can have sex with them. You understand? Go ahead.
Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband.
And for the same thing, go get a damn man. You need a man. Some sisters, like the sister that lived in the temple when Jesus Christ was born, she lived in that temple. She didn't have a man, right? So because you don't have a man, get in there and you can work in the temple, devote yourself to service to the priests. If a sister wants to do that, we welcome it. You don't need a husband, you come in here and we'll work you to death. You don't need a husband. You come in here and work. Y'all just forget about him. He work a woman to the damn nub, to the bone, down to the wrist bone. You know that over here. Give them a hand over here. He work them down to the wrist bone. Work the fingers, down the hand, down to the wrist. Then work it on the elbow, trying to get down here. You don't need a man in here. If you don't want a man, fine. But if you want to have some sex with somebody, you're going to need a man. That's just how it works, all right? Keep going.
Verse 4. The wife has not power of her own body, but the husband.
You get that. I think, did you go too far up? How many verses did you go up?
I went to the third.
Yeah, because it's better that a woman get a husband than that she commit fornication, which means what? She goes out and becomes a slut. She's a prostitute. She's a whore. Don't go do that. Get a husband to have regular sex with him if you need sex. Go do it. It's fine. Go ahead. A woman have not power over her. This just means if you have a husband or you have a wife, you're going to have sex with him, right? You're going to have to know I'm doing this. If I do this action, that means that I am now the resource for a person's sexual pleasure. That's what that means. I'm deciding to be her resource. So one day I can't say, I'm just not attracted to you. You don't have the right to not be attracted to her. You don't have the right to do that. A woman, you can't say, well, I'm so mad at you because you got another wife that I don't want to have sex with you. You don't have the right to do that. Both of you have decided to be the resource in this person's life for sexual pleasure. It's a choice. I know this world doesn't honor decisions that you make. This world treats you like a baby, Most High in Christ. A baby that just doesn't have any repercussions. You change your mind, with the wind blows. That's not how it is when you're an adult. You make choices in life. If you make this choice, you got to have sex, all right? Sorry. You got to have sex. Go ahead, come on.
Sir. And likewise, also the husband has not power of his own body.
Now, the IUIC teaches that means a man should rape his wife. That's what am I making this up? I am not. I'll pull the video if you need. I got a super gay video of the IUIC. I got to show you tonight. I thought the Sexy Jesus video was gay. I have an even greater gay video of the IUIC, greater gay than the sexy Jesus. I'm going to show it here. Tazadak already has it. Not you. What I meant to say was alternative lifestyles. I got an even more alternative. It's so alternative, it's ridiculous. We're going to play it in here tonight. I'll show you the picture tonight, all right? No, this doesn't mean you rape a woman. The same way that the Bible says that we're not allowed to steal. We're not allowed to, give me something else, eat pork, but you don't go into restaurants and snatch ham out of people's mouth, do you? In the truth, you don't force people to keep the law. You don't force your wife to keep the law either. The Bible says not to eat pork, but I don't go into restaurants and snatch bacon out of people's mouths. And I also don't rape my wife if she doesn't want to have sex. You don't force people to keep the law. What do? You teach them to keep the law. Then they have to make a choice on whether or not they're going to keep it or not. But the choice is theirs. The choice is your wives. You get the point. If she doesn't want to have sex, no problem, sis. I think of some sisters that will have it, though. I think I can go out there and meet some with their heads covered that will absolutely give it up. I pray you understand that. All right, so that's that. So, and of course, your wife, she doesn't have the option to go be with another man. So it's cruel for you not to give her sex. That's cruel. Everybody gets it, all right? Go ahead, next. See me one more time, please. Just with the chaser, all right? Are we done with this? Give it to Kamar real fast. Are we done? Have you got more? You got it, no sweat. All right. Now, let's say you have a wicked, put that back up on the screen, the Will Smith, right? But now let's say you have a wicked woman. And let me see it one more time, if you don't mind. Let's say you have a wicked woman, she's trying to make you jealous. She's trying to say, I'm going to go be with another man. So what? You can't tell me I can't have male friends. I'm going out with him because you went out with somebody. You cheated on me. You cheated on me. So now I'm going out with somebody else. No problem. Nothing. Don't stand in front of the door. Do not beat her up. Don't smack her. Don't punch her. Let me show you something right here. Do this to her right here. You see that? She comes home one day. And she's Will Smith. Can you freeze it? Freeze the image right there. What? That's what you need, brother. That's just poetic. Just freeze it right there. Where's the pic? You had the picture earlier. Yeah, you put it up on the screen earlier. You want to let her come home like that. Some brothers are so one west about it. They just wait until they get their affairs in order. They wait. No sweat. You going out. Listen, I understand. I did cheat on you, so I certainly understand. Boy, every time she leave out the house, you Googling apartments, talking to other brothers, seeing who you can move in with, slowly moving your stuff out the house. She don't even know. You slowly putting your stuff in your trunk, getting it out the house. One day she comes home from work and she's Will Smith. She's standing there just like that, bro. That's all. Don't be jealous. Be that. Don't be. She comes home finally thinking she finally used her body and showed you that she don't need to take your mess because she can get so you can. Now get a couch too and a TV. Because I'm gone. And the couch came with me and the TV. Before you don't know, listen, we're One West. We'll have a mob of men come to your home and strip it bare. That'll happen. Am I lying? Oh my God. You start acting up, sisters, before you go to work, no problem. We got 8 hours to strip that place naked. You'll come back, it'll be so clean, it'll be like that. Clean, swept, and garnished. Then you call them on the phone, you blocked on social media, blocked on Facebook, blocked on Instagram, the number's gone. That's a discipline knock. Don't be jealous, be like this. Let her go. Everybody understands. All right, next.
We got a question online. It said, can you get a breakdown of Revelation chapter 11, verse 14? It says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
This is a prophecy for after the Second World War. And the Third World War is coming quickly. The word woe means destruction in Old English. And right now, in the last days, there have been two woes. This prophecy is about the last days. this is one of the signs of you being in the last days, because the second woe has passed. There was a time before the truth existed. There was only one woe. That's after World War I. But the truth did not exist until when? 1969. In 1969, there were two woes passed. Two woes had already passed. Two world wars had passed by 1969, and the third woe cometh quickly. That's the third world's war. We're at the brink of it right now, which is what Commanding General Yohana's lecture was about. We're close right now to the third world's war. Every nation on the planet coming down into the valley of decision, the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is the Middle East, which is the land of Israel. And they're all going to fight there. All fight over who will own that land. In the middle of that fight, the last trumpet will blow, and the chariots will be in the sky. All of those enemies who were fighting each other will now turn their enemies on Christ to fight him. And they will join one another to fight Christ. And then they will fight the last battle, which will be over in about an hour. And that's that. Everyone understands. Next, in the back. Now.
Shalom, sir. If
Go
I
ahead,
could,
warrior.
could I get a quick breakdown on Isaiah chapter 5, verse 22?
You got it.
Woe unto them that are mighty
Mhm.
and mingle strong drink.
This is a precept about alcoholics. This is how you know you're an alcoholic. You think you're not. That's a good sign. You go to somebody who drinks a ton. It's always been one of my tests. You go to somebody who's clearly drunk all the time. And when I say drunk, let me make it very specific. Being an alcoholic has nothing to do with the amount of liquor, right? Because some people, if they have one glass of wine, they act like an asshole. Excuse my language. They can't drink. You understand? If they drink at all, they do stuff that's offensive. They offend everyone, and they're cruel and mean and start fights and problems. And then there's another brother who can drink a half a bottle of liquor and it's no problem. He doesn't do anything abnormal. But then the amount doesn't matter. What matters is the behavior after you've been drinking. That behavior is how you know who an alcoholic is. You're talking about this behavior right now. Read it one more time.
Isaiah chapter 5, verse 22. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine.
They're mighty to drink wine. Keep going.
And men of strength to mingle strong drink.
Read that last part, that word. Mit, what'd you say?
Men of strength to mingle strong drink.
Yeah, and men of strength to mingle strong drink. Which means what about this brother? What does he do when he's drunk? Knock. He wants to fight. He's strong to drink. And men of strength to drink strong, to mingle, mix strong drink. Meaning this cat is violent when he drinks, right? Everyone from the tribe of Gad to the tribe of Judah, you know this the tribe of Issachar, you know this uncle or this type of person that you know when they've been drinking, right? They've been drinking, and so here they go. Here they go offending everyone. Here they go causing discord and disharmony. You know, now they have to fight. Now it's a big argument. Now it's all kinds of fighting. The next day when you ask them about it, they don't even remember. Right. They don't even know it even happened. This is a drunk, and it is a sin to be a drunk. It's a sin. At one time, they would be dragged to the front of the city and stoned to death. Right. They'd be killed. Why? Oh, unalive, Salakia. They'd be unalive. Why? Because they break the peace in this nation. They disturb the peace. A drunk, you can't be peaceful around them. We're trying to love each other and be kind to each other and be brotherly, trying to have a party or a barbecue or an event. And here comes this goddamn drunk saying evil things, doing evil things, and we can't have peace with a drunk in our nest. You understand? Because he causes disharmony. Don't worry about it, Listen, there's a sin against it and they get dealt with. I've run many drunks out of the UPK. Many of them. I run them the hell out of there. I ran a couple out in Indianapolis, Atlanta. There's about 2 or 3 more that I'm going to run out of this school. There's about 2, 3 more drunks left in this school, and I have my gaze upon them. I see them day and night, and I'm just waiting for my opportunity to get rid of them. and then I'll walk by them in the street and see them in their calamity and not notice it. Right? Just if there's still a couple of drunks in the UPK, but I'm working on it. You understand? All right, next.
If I could, sir.
Please.
The question was, when I got asked that it's a sin to mingle strong drink or mixed drinks. That was the question that I got.
Anyway. I don't know. Don't mingle them up. Okay, don't mingle them then. I got bitches trying to run us down in Indianapolis. Arab woman tried to kill us. Run a car into the school, trying to kill us in Indianapolis. I got bigger problems. Like, don't drink mixed drinks. All right. Okay, that's all right. Just stop doing it. I guess you drink all your drinks straight to the head. just pour them down your throat with no chaser, with nothing. Do it, no problem. But don't worry, I'm working on you. I'm working on you. All right. Anything else? Go ahead. Say again, if you don't mind.
I have a question, Alawap, if
Please
you could.
go ahead.
1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 51 and 52.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, I shew you a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. Verse 52.
Mm-hmm.
In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound.
Let me try to wrap you up right here, right? When it says we shall not all sleep, it means that the Bible says that the dead in Christ will rise first. When Jesus Christ was crucified, the temple ripped in half. Like there was a crack down the wall of the temple that happened when he finally gave up the ghost, when he finally gave up the spirit and died. And dead people who were dead in the graveyards got up out the grave and walked into the city when Jesus Christ died. That's in the Bible. When Jesus Christ returns, dead people are going to get out the graves and get on the chariots. That's going to happen. Now, not everyone will be dead, but there will be dead people who were in the grave, get reincarnated in the dirt, in the dust that the worms ate, and get out of the grave and get on the chariots. That's going to happen simply to glorify the Most High God who did it. But not everyone will be asleep, but everyone will change. Right? So if you know, when you're in the coffin, the worms have eaten you, you fed the worms. You're going to get your body right there in the coffin, get a new body, get out. Other people will not be in the grave, but their bodies will change. The Bible says this in Thessalonians, that the brothers that get taken up in the chariots are going to change in the sky. In the sky, they're going to change with a blink, meaning it's going to happen quickly. The twinkling of an eye is a blink. They're going to change in the sky and get brand new bodies, just like the brothers in the graves will get brand new bodies, except you're not in the grave. You're alive, but you still get a brand new body in the twinkling of an eye. So just think you becoming a superhero. And it's so poignant in that because since I've been in the UPK and before, people have always compared us to superheroes. Since I've been in the truth, and I know before I was in the truth, in that day, you're going to become one. You're going to become a superhero in the sky. All of the medical problems that you've had to suffer with. Some of you brothers go to camp, your knees are bad, your back is bad. You can barely stand up, but you still went through Hebrew Academy. You still go to camp, and you're courageous because of it. In that day, while you're in the sky, you get brand new knees, brand new legs, brand new body, and become a superhero in the sky. That's what the Bible is talking about. So I
say it's a line of trumps. You know what I mean? They got a whole bunch of trumps in the line, and then at the last trump,
that's when it's gonna get real. So I think he got a grandson named Barry Trump or something like that. It's his son, and they got it's a whole doctrine, sir. Yeah, they got the Trumps in the end. Like,
young man in the back. let me get the brother in the back. Go ahead. I can't even hear you, Warrior. 1 second. Go ahead,
I just want to ask a question off of what you said. Is it against the law to be cremated?
Come say it one more time.
Is it against the law to be cremated?
It's not against the law to be cremated. There is no law against it. It is not Israelite culture to cremate. It's a dishonorable burial. So someone that I loved, I would never cremate. You understand? If you want to be cremated, that's up to you. You haven't broken any laws to do it. But if I honor a person, I don't cremate him. I bury him in the dirt. From dust thou came, and to dust thou shalt return. It's dishonorable in our culture to cremate someone. Think about it like a different things, like how we treat a guest that comes into our own. We kill the fatted calf. There's a culture that we have on how we treat each other. And the culture to how you treat your dead loved ones is to bury them. The funerals come from the Greeks. Funeral means fire. The term funeral, it means fire, right? The Greeks burned their dead. They put 2 coins on their eyes for the ferryman, because there was supposed to be a ferryman that took your body across the river Styx. I forget the ferryman's name. You can look him up. He has a name. And he would travel, take your body across the river Styx unto Valhalla, or blah, 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 whatever myth the Greeks and Romans had. And you had to give him coins, and they put coins on your eyes. And they burned their dead. We did not burn our dead. In Israel, the honorable death was to take your father and put him in the dirt, to put him in the ground. That was honorable. It was how we treated our loved ones with respect. So it's not unlawful. Many times in America, you don't have the money for a burial, because a burial costs on average $15,000. How much does a cremation cost? On average, $3,000 to $4,000. So most of your burials here will be cremations, simply because you don't have the money to do anything else. That's not a sin. You don't have the money to bury, and many times to bury your loved ones like you would like to. Many times you don't get a headstone for the same reason. Why? Because you don't have the money to get a goddamn headstone. You would like to. If you had the money, you'd get a headstone, you have a burial. You don't have the cash, and it's no dishonor to be poor. Being poor is not a sin. You get my point. Now in the UPK, if you're a brother and sister in the school, Lord forbid you die, Commanding General Yohana buries our dead. That's it. You understand now, right? All right, go ahead.
Salakia Alawap, if I may, can I get a breakdown? Well, I guess not a breakdown, but if you could just kind of clarify on this right here.
Let me take it. Let me take his question and Knox before I forget. For the same thing, Knox, to your question, it can't be unlawful to mix drinks because there is no, to you, Knox, because there is no law against mixing drinks. You get my point? If there's no law against it, then it's lawful to do it. It's like saying, can you wear a hoodie? Am I allowed to wear a hoodie? Brother right here in the middle. Am I allowed to wear a hoodie? Why? How do I know for a fact? Give him a hand. That's all. It's just simple as that. So now there is no law against mixing drinks. So this precept cannot be saying you can't mix drinks because there is no law against mixing. There's no law against having styrofoam cups. So it's not unlawful to have it's not unlawful to have a microphone because there's no law against it, right? And that's just a catch-all so you can understand the Bible. If there's no law against it, then it's lawful. Everybody understands, all right? Could please come on.
Salakia Alawap, if I may. I got a question on 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 22 and 23 and 24. And verse 23, and he went up from thence unto Bethel. As he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city and mocked him and said unto him, go up, you bald head, go up, you bald head. And he turned back and looked unto them and cursed them in the name of the Lord.
That's
And-
hurtful comments right there.
And there,
That's hurtful, Tazadar. You don't understand.
so like,
Hurtful. Ouch. Ouch. I felt that.
and,
Ouch. Tazadar. You don't know what I'm talking about.
so like,
They don't understand.
and
Hurtful. I thought one tear fell down, like one solitary tear fell down right here, Tazadar. Hurtful comments. Go ahead, laugh. Trying to mock him to scorn, like the scriptures say. Laughing about him, talking about his bald ass head. Keep going.
so like, another one con and mocked him and said, okay. And he turned back and looked unto them and cursed them in the name of the Lord.
Yeah, man.
And there came forth 2 she-bears
She-bear.
out of the wood
Mhm.
and tear 40 and 2 children of them.
Yeah, watch your mouth out. That's all. Watch your mouth. Go
So
ahead.
like you sir,
Mhm.
if it says like in Ephesians 5:4, like you like no obscene language shall come from your mouth, and so you know what I mean. So would this be an exception? Like say if someone blasphemes or like persecutes one of the prophets or priests, are we allowed to do something such as that, sir?
Well, okay. There's a time for that, and there's a situation for that, right? But you don't want to go into your own understanding, so you don't want to take it upon yourself to do it. Okay, you want to get orders to do something like that. In the Israelite school of UPK, there absolutely can be a time when you have to get an order to be physically courageous. That could happen. I can't tell you that that could never happen. It could happen where you get an order to do something righteously physical to someone. It's why we train, because that day could come where to defend someone, to defend your brother, to defend your sister, you might have to physically defend them. So that absolutely can happen. It's happened to me. It's going to happen to you. It could happen. All right. However, this is not that, because 3 she-bears killed them, unalived them. So there's no person that did it. The Most High just caused the spirit to come upon these bears. And that is that's the way it happens more often. More often, we don't need to go out and harm someone because of some insult or to do something physical. They'll just drop dead. That's what usually happens. Unalive, drop unalive, or fall unalive. That's all. Our enemies feed the worms, warrior. You understand? And we don't do it. You hear that, FBI? We don't touch any of them. I tell you, I'm so sick of being called by the goddamn FBI. I'm tired of it. Being called every time somebody trips and falls down, they act like we did it. Every time somebody get a Band-Aid on their goddamn head, I got to get a phone call as if we did it. We didn't do it. We didn't do anything. Here's what happens more often than not, is that the Most High God turns his back on them. And now they die of a heart attack, a stroke, pancreatic cancer, this cancer, that cancer. You know, our enemies feed worms. And it's not by our hand. It's by the hand of the Most High. You understand?
So what, Lord?
All right, next.
Salaki, sir, I have a question online from Matara Gad. That says, Salaki Alawa, what is the spirit behind Esau recruiting Gad villages for people to pay to see?
What are we talking about now? That happened also down there in Indianapolis. The Arab woman ran her car into our school trying to unalive us. We go talk to the FBI. Well, do y'all sell drugs? Do you sell drugs? How do you make your money? There's an Israelite group in Chicago that sell drugs. Do you sell drugs? I mean, all they want to talk about is us and what the hell we're doing and what we could be doing and who got hurt over here and who got hurt over there. We had to go inform their supervisor. The supervisor comes down to the school the next day and apologizes for what this agent is asking us about. Are we criminals? Do we hurt people? Have we hurt this person or that person? This person fell down over here. This person slipped on a banana over here. Do you know something about that? Do you know something about that? The supervisor came over and apologized and asked us, and we videotaped the whole thing, and asked us not to put the videotape out. We're holding that videotape right now. We're holding it just in case. Just in case. So once again, that harming people is not something we have to do. That's the Most High God will take care of that for us. That's not a concern. The FBI doesn't have to be concerned about us, taking the law into our own hands. The Most High God takes the law into his hands. He'll handle it. Everybody gets it, right? Go ahead. You asked the question just now, didn't you? Oh, that was it. Okay, solid. Anything else? No.
The super alternative picture that you was about to show.
Thank you. Also, I got to do my Spanish in here tonight too, Akim. Make sure I do not leave out of here without doing it. Go ahead. Let me see that as well. Now, that was important for some other reason, that senior Pentagon official. I think it was about, what was he doing, child trafficking or something? That was heavy because, of course, this week, I think in the last Thursday class, we did a story about how many missing so-called North American Indian women are missing on reservations and how little girls are disappearing. I mean, the number is insane. Over 5,000, numbers like 5,400 of them have been missing on reservations, little Gadite girls, young Gadite women. And no one knows where they are. No one is getting arrested and no one cares. But everyone, of course, is protesting in the streets for the Palestinians. And another thing that so many things happen every day that I just do not understand. And I wish I could understand. How does someone protest in New York and scream at a protest and say, in New York City, and say, give them back their land? What? The Israelis have stolen their land. Give them back their land in Manhattan. That's what you're screaming. In Manhattan, you're yelling, telling someone in the Middle East that they have to give back land that they stole from someone. My head is going to pop off. I don't understand that. How do you live in New York and go to a planned protest, and the reason you're angry is because someone stole someone's land? At the end of the protest, you're going to go back to Brooklyn and go into your high rise in Brooklyn with your doorman and go into your apartment with air conditioning and say, boy, them Palestinians really need to get their land back. You live in Chelsea, in New York, and you're angry because the Palestinians haven't gotten. That's insane, and I don't understand it. And I need to try to understand it, how you could complain in America about Palestinians not having their land, and you live in America on a land stolen from the so-called North American Indian, the tribe of Gad, the chosen people of God. How do you feel? How does your conscience not bother you? You expect the Israelis to do something you would never do. You would never give this country back to the so-called North American Indian, but you expect the Israelis to give back Palestine to the Palestinians when you would never give back New York. You would never give back Connecticut. You would never give back America to the North American Indian. Listen, I don't understand it. I try to understand it, but I just can't grasp it. I can't grasp the hypocrisy of it. Well, there's a epidemic of girls missing. Matter of fact, maybe I'll end with that. The story of Judith, which I meant to read Thursday. Someone grabbed me the story of Judith, especially the part where she cut the cat's head off and then took the head back. Okay, solid. All right, go ahead and read that.
Senior Pentagon official overseeing elementary schools division arrested in human trafficking sting. In the recent crackdown in human trafficking in Coweta County, Georgia, an unsettling revelation has come to light among those apprehended in a law enforcement sting operation is Stephen Francis Havanek, a senior official with the Department of Defense Education activity. America's division, which oversees elementary education for military families. Havanek, 64, was arrested on November 15th in Coweta County, Georgia, on suspicious of pandering according to the daily.
For those of you that don't know, the word pandering is where the word pimp comes from. The word pimp is a derision of the word pandering, meaning he's selling children, right? Pimping is pandering. That's where the word comes from. So this cat is in charge of the elementary schools for soldiers who are in the Esau's military, right? You know, Esau's military, they have military bases. And on those bases, they have elementary schools. He's in charge of the elementary schools. And he was charged literally with pimping children, pimping them, selling children. And there's so many people like this. And when we get to the bottom of where these missing North American Indian children are, it's going to be like a horror movie out. It's going to be like it's going to terrify you once you find out who has been stealing these children, who's been stealing these girls, and no one cares about it at all. This man right here, he was arrested for selling children. He is in charge of in South Carolina of the elementary schools on military bases. Everyone understands. Give me the come on.
I know Thursday I got some links from you. I think for you. There was one about a mayor that was the judge. And I was
that's a good one too. I remember that. If you have it, I'll take it. First, my eyes can't get off of this hardworking sister right here. Get her on the camera right here. This is a hardworking woman here. She looked like she worked hard. What's your name, sis? Asala? Kasala, what does your name mean? Kasala. Kasala. They ain't even tell you what your name means. They just hand you a pot. They ain't tell you what it. They hand her a spatula and a pot. Kasala, here's your pot. Give her a hand. You're still working hard. Y'all just you'll help her out with her name. Tell her what her name means. It's a hard-working woman right here. What tribe are you? Most High in Christ. The water for your service, sister. She's cooking the whole day, looking like she's whatever that is. It's delicious. You know that, all right? The water. All right, whatever you have, I'll read it. Go ahead, Al. Say again.
Did you want Judith the head cut off?
Okay, I don't remember Salakia. Okay. I think we're waiting on the IUIC's alternativeness. Something else. Now remember, this is many years ago. Some brother sent me a picture of Nasty Nate with his sexy Jesus. This had to be 10, 15 years ago. Let's get Nasty Nate as sexy Jesus one more time. Can we get both of them? First, give me Nasty Nate with the sexy Jesus. For those of you that don't know, the IUIC is the Israelite group that always wears purple. They love purple. They got some fetish for purple. That's like a sexual fetish. You know, for somehow the color purple is just exciting and delicious, and everything is purple. Purple everything. Purple everywhere, right? And so they have a man who's in charge of them named Bishop Nasty Nate. That's not his actual name. I think his name is Bishop Nathaniel. We just call him Nasty Nate because he's so nasty. All right. And so he made a picture of Jesus, right? He made a picture of Jesus that is him. You understand? Now, focus now on what I'm telling you. This is him. He took himself and made his face the face of Jesus. But not quite him, but him in his most sexualized sexiness. And here it is right here. Now, this is Nate. That's him. Now, you got to see, you have a picture of Nate? Show me a picture of Nate to show you this is Nate's face. This is his face. But he made him, but he just made himself just so nasty and so sensual, sexy. As you can see, you got to look for it. Salakia. See me one more time, Maury. Also, at the end of this class, someone contact Commanding General Yohana's show. I'm going to be staying to do Commanding General Yohana's show from Texas. Commanding General Yohana will be doing it from the East Coast. We'll be rocking and rolling, and I'll do my part down here to help out, all right? See, this is Nasty Nate right here, right? If you don't mind. Now, just put that next to the sexual Jesus, all right? Now, this is him. If you can put them side by side, that might make everyone understand, all right? So he loves purple. He's got a sexual fetish for purple, much like Prince. Those of you out there, Prince fans, right? Make good music, Purple Rain, right? You remember Prince? Prince had the performer. Prince had another sexual fetish for the color purple. Right? It's sexy. It's nasty. It's exciting, right? Prince had the same fetish. Nasty Nate also, much like Prince, has a fetish for the color purple. All right. This is the picture of the Jesus. That's the picture of Nate. Okay, now that's all I can tell you. All right. So this is him. So he took his face, made himself Jesus, but not quite him, but him at his most sexy. As you can see the pecs. Look at the pectoral muscles. That's this line right here. You see that line, the separation of the two pecs. Baby oil down. Glistening with oil. Look at the traps, the pecs, everything glistening, oily, glistening chest. For some reason, Jesus is naked under his garment. I've never understood why is Jesus naked under the garment. Jesus has no shirt on under this garment. Listen, I'm not in the IUIC. I don't know what y'all into. That's y'all business. I'm not involved with that. I just know that you made a picture of Jesus and gave him oily, glistening, oily pecs. That's what you did. And it's Nate with glistening, oily pecs. All right? So now I thought this was the gayest thing I've ever seen. Oh, they topped themselves. Let me show you the new picture. Now, who knows who Big Frida is in here? Big Frida. This is the name. It just makes me happy. You know, Big Frida. It just makes me happy. Big Frida is this one. He's like a bishop or something in the IURC. He's the big bishop over there, right? And he's an amazing dancer. I don't know if you know. Big Frida is, he could win on Dancing with the Stars. Big Frida can dance. Listen, I'm not half the dancer Big Frida is. I'm not even trying to compete with him. I can't dance. Big Frida is a dancing machine. Where's the video of Big Frida first? Look at this shit. So like, God. Now I need to stand up and show you this. Now I'm gonna show you Big Frida. Then you can see what this is. Now you see, of course, look at the track. Look at these arms there. All of the textured muscles. The muscles are full of texture. Textured muscles. Abs. Look at the thighs here. Zoom in on the thighs. The thighs are full of richness and texture. Hold up. Zoom in right here. Big Frida gave himself a camel print. Zoom in on the camel toe. Big Frida gave himself a camel toe. There's a camel toe right here. Betwixt and around this area right here. The Big Frida. And let me give you the nastiest part of this. Turn to the child. This is a child here. This is some type of purple child. Look at his abs. Look at the abs, the 12-pack on the child. Let me see the child's legs, his quadriceps. Look at the quads. Let me see the camel toe on the child. They put the camel on the child. Right there. Look. It's right there. There it is right there. Listen, Knock. I know the white man is in charge, and it's a free country right now. But this type of child pornography ain't gonna be allowed much often. Okay, you're gonna have to stop doing what you're doing with these kids. They have sexualized a child. That's a child. That's not a man with a 12-pack and a camel toe. You're gonna give a child a camel toe and give him glistening muscles and quads to make him what? More attractive? That's a sick, nasty group, the IUIC. There's some sickness in there that's disgusting. Now show me Big Frida. Now remember that picture of him right there. And they got some type of a delusion in their mind with how they look and how they want to look and how they want to be sexy and in shape and glistening bodybuilders or somehow. I don't understand the mess. This the actual guy. That's Big Frida right there. Now show me him with his dance moves. Deacon, what's that say? Abba Babayel. I don't know. That's him. And I know that little boy is probably his son or something up. And when you go to draw your son, why would you give him a camel toe and his thighs all like that? What's wrong with you? You trying to make him attractive or something? Listen, I got to go. All right, I got to do the Commander General Yohana's show after this. Let me just see the dance of Big Frida. Any other questions in the room or online? This is the one we always play with him dancing. You know what I'm talking about, right? All right, I got to go. Here you go. Swat. Say what? Say what? Say what? Swat. Bang. Say what? Say what? Whoa! Whoa! That's the one. That's the one. That is the one. Hold on. Say what? Say what? Oh no! Oh no! No! Oh, I'm scared of it. Oh, I'm scared of it. Oh my God! They keep playing it. They won't stop. They keep playing it. Oh my God! Oh my Lord! Keep playing it. There's a purple brother over here who's so embarrassed at watching him dance. You're gonna see him. He's a dark skin. Look at him. He's beating his butt. He's beating his butt. He's beating himself like beat it. It's hot. He's beating the heat off it. Look, that one right there. He is embarrassed. He look away. He turned his eyes away. Because he is embarrassed that Big Frida beating his own tail. Beating his tail like that. He look at him in the face. Ah! Oh my Lord. He is so embarrassed now. He cannot even look at him. Look at him. Oh, okay, that's all I can do for you. Listen, all I'm trying to say, and I'm not trying to be, I know these is poor Black and Hispanic men over there wearing purple. All I'm trying to tell you is that they're an alternative lifestyle Israelite group. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to disparage them in any way. I'm just trying to say they like to have sex with men. Okay, and they sexualize little boys and make little boys attractive to other men. Because that's exactly what he did with that child. He made a picture of that child that was sexually attractive to gay alternative lifestyle men. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to disparage them in any way. I understand that they're doing the best they can. They're not in the truth. They haven't been blessed like me. They didn't come up under Commanding General Yohana. Commanding General Yohana knows how to teach you to be a man. Okay, I mean, they didn't get the blessing that I have. I'm just trying to say that if you're in the IUIC, you should be very concerned that one of them is not going to sexualize your son into having sex with men. Okay, that's all I'm trying to tell you, all right? I'm not trying to disparage them or speak evil of them, all right? Is there anything else? We good here. Is that it? Do I have time or what I got to do here? Please, sister, get it on the camera. Microphone, go ahead.
So it's kasala, which means confidence. Good sense of truth.
Give her a hand. And look how beautiful she is. Look at Kasala. This is a beautiful woman right here. Well done. Confident. Damn right, Kasala. You have every reason to be confident. Well done. Well said. All right. Where are we at right now? Good to go? All right. Any more questions? What time is this? When is Camille Johannes? This is 8. So this what time of in the East Coast? Say again. It starts at 8 on the East Coast. Okay. It starts at 9 there. 8 here. So it's 8 here, which means it's 9 there. So it's time to start it. All right, clap it up there. All right. So now let me do mi Espanol, the water warrior. Let me do this and then that's that, all right? Mm-hmm. Uno momento. Lo siento. Mi nombre es General Mahayaman. Soy tu hermano y estos son los anuncios. Somos la Escuela Elite de Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Comenzamos en 1 Oeste Calle 125 Harlem, Nueva York. Desde 1969, debajo del comando de el General Yahana Canales. Esta es la verdad. Si tú eres latino, negro o indio nativo, tú eres Israel, el pueblo elegido Dios. Tu madre y tu padre dicen que somos un culto y mantienen su iglesia sin culpa. Pero su iglesia tiene toda la culpa de lo que nos está pasando. Órale. With that, pass the class over to Officer Dawada.
Everybody on Majim, which means to stand. We'll do one courtesy salute for the teacher. Men of Israel, Majim Bat. I'm Majim. Barak. Sar, Yahya Matal, Sar, we're going to do a courtesy salute for our sisters. Men of Israel, Majim Shabbat. I'm Majim. Barak. Yahweh Shamar Alathah Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. Yahya Matal, class dismissed.
Get down here to class, 1232 North King Street, Wilmington, Delaware.
Shalom, Lord Christ, to my brothers and sisters, man. Y'all need to come down to 1232 North King Street, where the truth resides, man. Isupk, Delaware. We definitely represent and doing some big things.
Right? 202 North DuPont Boulevard.
That's
in
right.
Smyrna, Delaware.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Come and be a part of this rising thing that we got going on here in Delaware.
I hear everybody claiming that they love the Lord and love God and all that. Well, get in here and show it. You know what I mean? The scriptures say faith without works is dead. So if you ain't doing nothing, your faith is dead. So get up and do something. What you need to do is get your ass up and get in the class. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't doing nothing else. You're sitting home wasting time. Everything is going on around you, and you don't know how to compartmentalize these things. You understand? I'm on my way to class right now, like you should be. You know what I'm saying? Class don't stop for nothing.